Arsenal have a world-class player waiting to play for them. Now, they do have to be careful in the way they go about it, but just listen to what this player has done and try and tell me if you can guess who you think this is, okay? So, he's being compared to players like Cesc Fabregas and Jack Wilshere. He made his debut for Arsenal under-18s at just 14 years old. He's a player that can play out wide as a false nine, as an 8 as well, but for me, he excels most when he's further forward in that number 10 position. And the final clue is he's the youngest ever Premier League player at age 15 years old. If you haven't guessed it yet, it is, of course, Wonderkid Ethan Nwaneri. And I use the term Wonderkid, and I know it gets thrown out a lot of times, but that is genuinely what this player is. The hype that's around this player and the expectation around this player is phenomenal, but it's well warranted. We're going to go through some of the things that this player has done and what he can offer Arsenal. And also later in the video, we're going to talk about if this is a player that can be integrated now, next season, who he replaces, and maybe if he needs to go out on loan. I want this to be a discussion. So let me know your thoughts on everything Ethan Nwaneri. How good do you think this player is, can be, and do you think he can be integrated into this Arsenal team now? So let's get into it. But before we do me a favour. Give me a thumbs up on this video if you enjoy this type of content. Look, I'm not just saying this next piece because I'm an Arsenal fan, but this is genuinely the best young English talent in world football. There are some others that we'll talk about in another video. Lewis Skelly and stuff, for example. But Ethan Nwaneri has something special about him. Not only Arsenal know this, there's other teams that know this as well. This guy's spatial awareness, his ability under pressure, his technical ability. This guy is so composed, and that is shown by the fact that last year, this was a guy that was wanted by Man City. One of the best academies in world football, Man City. They wanted him. Chelsea, they offered this guy 45 grand a week, reportedly, at the age of 15 or 16, whatever he was when he got that last contract for Arsenal. Chelsea tried to offer him £45,000 a week to try and take him. That's how sought after this player is. That's how highly rated this player is. Not only in English football, but in world football. There's big expectations. This kid will deliver, and I'm so excited to see him come through. But what do we do with a player like this? Is he ready to make the transition now? If you was asked, do you bring Ethan Nwaneri into the first team next season? Do you do it? Look, we always want to see a young player being given an opportunity in the first team. But let's not forget, this kid is 16 years old. There's no rush. We have at least another season. And although I would like to see him given more opportunities next season, there might be a path that could suit him better, that could suit his development better, okay? So what do we do? There is a question, does he need to be sent out on loan? And if he does, where would you send him? Now, I've got my opinions, but I want you to know, if you are someone who, is saying we need to send this player out on loan for a season, a lot of top players have been sent out on loan. It's not an unusual thing to do. So if that does happen, it wouldn't shock me. But where do you send him? That is vital in this kid's development. I've got a couple of opinions myself, but let me know yours. If you do want to send him out on loan, what league would you send him to? I've got 2, maybe 3 that could work. The Championship's always a good league for young English players, but I'm going to dismiss that one for now. So that would be my third choice. My top 2 choices, secondly, would be the German league. Do we do a Jude Bellingham on this kid? Do we send him over to a good team in Germany and allow him to play there for a year? The German league, in terms of ability, isn't as good as the Premier League. So a player like that, you would expect to go over there and probably be one of the better performers in the German league. He certainly has that ability about him. But I think the best league for this player's development would actually be La Liga. If you can get him into a top half team in La Liga that will play him consistently, I think that will be the best development possible for this kid. And I'll tell you why. We know how technical this guy is, right? But he also has the physical presence as well. For such a young kid, he's very strong, very low centre of gravity, never loses the ball. And that's exactly what La Liga's like. It's so technical over in Spain. So he won't be the only technical player over in Spain. So that will make him sharpen his tools. That will make him sharpen his technical ability. If he's playing against all these technical players in Spain and he can go over there and excel and prove to be one of the most technical players over there, that's when you realise you have a very special player on your hands. You're over there playing teams like Barcelona, Real Madrid. He'll be playing against players like Jude Bellingham. He'll be playing against midfield like Luka Modric. People like that. So that will hone his abilities. He'll be able to learn from some of the Spanish coaches, some of the Spanish players. And I genuinely believe if you send him over there for 1 year and he sort of earns a position in a starting 11, that's when he's ready. That's when you could expect a player like that to come back and slot straight into this first team. And that poses the question, who do you swap him for? You know, who would you kick out of the team in order to give Ethan Nwaneri a chance? Because it will have to happen at some point. That doesn't necessarily mean you have to kick Martin Odegaard out of the squad. We know how many games these players at the top level in a team like Arsenal are expected to play a season. You've got the Champions League, Premier League, FA Cup, EFL Cup. So many cup competitions. There is so many opportunities for these sort of fringe players and players coming through to get enough game time to develop into the players that we want them to be. But you still do need to make sacrifices in your squad. And that's where I'm looking at players like a Fabio Vieira, like a Emil Smith-Rowe. You know, these players who haven't actually secured a position of their own yet. Do you have to sacrifice a Smith-Rowe? We know how much everyone loves Emil Smith-Rowe. The story, the how end, we love it. But if you've got a prospect coming through who has the ability to go on and be a better player, sometimes you do have to make sacrifices and get rid of players maybe you wouldn't really want to. Like I said, the perfect road, in my opinion, for Nwaneri is keep developing where he is at the minute, playing for the under-18s and under-21s. Next season, you try and secure him that loan in La Liga. Go over there, sharpen your tools, come back. And the season after next, I think this is a player that can really make an impact in this Arsenal first-team squad. But that's just my thoughts on Ethan Nwaneri. What are your thoughts? Do you think this player needs to be sent out on loan? Do you think this player can start being integrated into the first team straight away? And if not Nwaneri, who's next? Who out of that youth setup are you looking at and thinking, right, this is the guy that we need to be focusing on because he can come in and make an impact straight away? I would love to hear your suggestions. And don't forget, I do daily Arsenal content on this channel, so make sure you're subscribed. If you enjoy the content as well, like I said, make sure you give me a thumbs up. It helps the channel massively. Thanks so much to everyone for watching and listening. And I'll speak to you all in tomorrow's video. Gooners, have a good day.